First to the Zoom,
Okay.
and yeah, we don't have the agenda now.
Yeah.
Now where do I?
There we go. We now have the agenda. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
You can see the agenda.
I can.
No, I cannot.
You can't see the agenda. Okay.
I saw it for a minute.
Hmm. Oh, I see. Now can you see it?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, so let's call this meeting to order at 6:04 on April the 29th, Monday. This is a meeting of the Town of Green Mountain Falls Fire Mitigation Advisory Committee. And I will call the roll. We have Lisa Heisinger.
Yep.
Kelly Hunter. And Paul Yingling.
Here.
Lori Worthy and David Douglas present. So we're all here. Guess everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Does anybody have any additions, corrections, deletions, etc.?
I don't.
Okay. Then do I have a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
Move to accept.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, Kelly seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, our agenda is accepted. Do we have any visitors tonight who would like to take 3 minutes to address the committee? If so, just take your mute button off and announce yourself. Okay, well, we're happy to have the those of you who have joined to listen into our meeting, and I hope that it helps answers any questions that you may have. So the minutes from our last meeting, March 25th, has anyone got any changes or edits that you think are required? I take that there is no.
I don't. I'm good with it.
Okay, thank you, Lori. I thought they were pretty faithfully written. All right. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the March 25th meeting?
Move to
I'll make it.
accept.
Who was that?
Paul moved to accept.
Second? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
As Lori, okay. So all in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to accepting the minutes? None opposed. Passes. All right, make those minutes a matter of record. So old business. We have a few items that I've enumerated under our education program 1 through 4 there that we need to discuss or just kind of keep in the front of our mind. And I'll sort of kick off with green box hikes just to remind y'all that the Fire Mitigation Advisory Committee will do 2 hikes during green box, one into Wallace Reserve on July 4th and the other will be on July 16th up to 11145 Hondo to look at a home that has been remediated to the Colorado State Forestry Service standards. Do we have any more movement on Bronc Day plans? I know Lori and Kelly, are y'all leading that effort? We still too far away to really talk about any plans there?
No plans yet. We're signed up for Bronc Day.
Okay.
But that's it at this point.
All right.
I'm guessing what we'll do is the same booth that we've always had.
Okay.
So do you guys, because I wasn't there last year as part of this, do you guys have a booth? How does that work, Kelly? Do y'all?
Yeah, we set up a booth and we have literature there, and we just talk to people as they come up. We see if we can get them to sign up for the emails to stay informed. And just basically give them information about mitigation and what's available. And we'll probably tell them about the chipper days that'll come up in September.
Do you set up the booth? How does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like an easy up with a table.
Okay.
Lori, we all tend to pitch in, and whoever's available to help
Okay.
set up and man the booth. I think, Lisa, didn't you say you are not going to be here for Bronc Day this year?
I'm on pie duty.
Oh, you're on pie duty. Yeah, that's right. I knew
Yeah.
you had. You had-
So,
Yeah. I guess Lori and I, this is kind of jumping in on what we talked about for the fire department event. But having maybe a sign available that we could put on our table, or maybe even walk through the parade with, like a big banner type of a thing. So I'm not sure how much they cost, but we could use it at different events that we go to, different educational events that we could, announce who we are on our table. Just an idea that we had. So.
Well, I think that's a great idea, and I think it's probably something we need to make as an action item this year for our planning for Bronc Day and, of course, execution, that we do have a sign, because we've had one made in the past that is stands on a tripod easel sort of thing, and the wind always blows it over. And I'm not sure that it really is large enough to speak to anyone, call people out of the crowd, but also marching in Bronc Day with a banner would be a good idea as well. So maybe Lori and Kelly can take that into consideration as they're planning.
We could ride the fire truck, Lori.
that would be fun. Okay, with the fire guys, I would love that. No. Okay.
I forget, when is Bronc Day this year?
27th, I believe.
July 27th?
Don't go to the bank with that, but I think I'm right.
So getting back to that, guys, I've sort of, Lisa, you're on pie duty. There's a good chance I'm going to be on beer duty as well. So if that comes to pass, I think, they're selling beer, and I sort of got nominated to maybe help pour the beer, since I've done that before up in Woodland Park at events. So if it ends up that the town or whoever is doing that, and then I might need to go between the two booths for a little, so I just want to give you a heads up.
We usually take turns.
Yeah.
At the booth, so that works.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see me doing that like for 4 hours or anything, but but I think they're trying to get that to have like a beer, to offer beer this year. I don't know, Lisa, you're on the committee there, the Bronx Day Committee, so.
Right, I think they need a permit from the town. So that hasn't been finalized quite yet, but
Yeah.
that-
So
that's
if
the
it,
the hopes.
yeah, if it ends up
Mhm.
happening, then I'm gonna be doing that as well. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up.
I'm pretty sure the town has received the request for the permit, though.
Oh.
I think.
Gotcha. Yeah, Thursday, the Bronx Day Committee's meeting, so I can get us an update on that.
Okay, that would be great. Okay, well, Kelly and Lori,
We'll look into the sign, the banner.
excellent. Okay. And you can report to us, I guess, at our next meeting, which will be in May, and perhaps make a recommendation.
Okay.
This next item 3, a wildfire community preparedness day, is May 4th. And it's part of the NFPA, the National Fire Prevention Association. Carolyn Bowers sent me an email about it, and I can't remember if I attached it. Her suggestion was that, you know, it was probably too late for us to do anything for this year, but we might want to think about this as part of our community awareness and education program in the future. So I'm really just bringing this to y'all's attention so that, as I said, May 4th is just around the corner. I don't think we can get ready for a wildfire community preparedness day in such short order, but I think next year this should be on our agenda for consideration.
Absolutely.
Do you guys know, is it always the first weekend in May?
I think it probably is, and I think what we need to do is just keep an eye on the NFPA website, because they're the ones who sort of declare Community Wildfire Prevention Day. So, all right, back to our agenda. Okay, anything more on our first responder appreciation event, which is, what's our date on that?
Yeah. August 3.
August 3.
Yeah. So Lori and Lauren, who's on our Zoom tonight, and I met, and Lori's been, or I'm sorry, Lauren and Chief Murphy have been kind of going over some of our brainstorming that we've been doing. And I guess the first thing that we'd like to change how we're billing it, instead of being an appreciation event, since the firehouse is they're hosting the event, so it's kind of morphed into, we feel like, a little something else. That what were our I'm just going to look at my notes to see what we had been thinking of, the kind of a name change. Let's see. Do you guys have that offhand?
Yeah, like a community
thank
open
you.
house. A community
Yeah.
open house. In partnership with the fire mitigation community. So think community open house at your fire department in partnership with the fire mitigation committee. Was more of a title or something to go on a band or a flyer, right, Lisa? Lauren?
Yeah, we thought that was more fitting for what's actually what this is kind of morphed into, and we're super happy with the direction it's going into. So Yes. And how is everybody else feeling about kind of changing that name to
I
What-
think it
what
makes a lot of
Lauren said.
sense. I think it makes a lot of sense to do that, as you said, because essentially the fire district is hosting this event where we're wanting
Right.
to appreciate them. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, and we're gonna get Heidi Blasi on board with helping with flyers, and she's just an excellent wordsmith for marketing this kind of thing. And so we're excited to work with her
Oh,
with
good.
promotion. So we had some ideas on marketing and things, and I'd like to ask if the chief and Lauren, can you guys pipe in anytime? If we're saying something that that you could clarify, that would be fantastic. So, but
Hey, Lisa.
hey,
Hey, no,
thanks for being here, guys.
of course, I'm going through my notes, and everything that you have said has been what we've talked about. And I think it's a good thing to have that name change to show groups working together. I think that's really important to promote in the spirit of community.
Well said. Yep.
So we're looking at a time from 11 to 2 that day on August 3rd. Are you guys good with that time? You
We
think that-
are, yes.
Do you need any extra help?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. As many of you guys that are going to be in town, the better, actually.
You could count me in, Lauren. This is David. We'll be in Greenmount Falls during that time.
Awesome. Thank you, David.
So as far as making a banner for that to use in the Bronx Day Parade, is Heidi gonna do that also?
Yeah, I think we could possibly tweak our wording a little bit to, so I think she could, I think we just need a little more work around the exact wording because it's a little bit long, but we like the idea of what we're trying to communicate. So, yeah. But
Yeah, I just was wondering, I
imagine-
didn't know who to put, whose
Well-
name next to that action item as to get the banner.
So I think, I don't know, Lisa, we talked about, I think they're two separate things. I think the fire mitigation committee needing a banner, like a general just banner, fire mitigation committee. And then I think with this is a separate thing, meaning like if we're marching in the parade, didn't we talk, you guys, we talked about maybe making one, because I have that, something that says community open house or something to announce that, this event next, the following week, right?
Correct, yeah. So we would get one banner that'll last us for many years, we hope, and then a more specific one for information for our event.
Right.
And then Heidi would help us with, say, flyers, that kind of thing, marketing in the Church of the Wildwood newsletter, Facebook, and I know Carolyn's like a remarkable wordsmith also, so maybe between those two, we can get something really great looking to communicate really well. So yeah. But, so yes,
Forgive me if I'm missing something.
please.
If I'm putting a name next to an action to be taken for the banners, do we know who's gonna do that, or we have not decided yet? For either of the banners?
Good question.
So I volunteered myself and my daughter to create the banner that is related to this event. We can paint and color a
Okay.
banner.
And then for the Fire Mitigation Action Committee banner, that's the one you want on the booth at Bronc Day?
Right, right.
Who-
And that's, yeah, I think David said you and me together,
Okay,
Kelly.
That's correct. Y'all
thank you.
will brainstorm that and come up with a recommendation for at our next meeting.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
thanks for the clarity.
Well, thank you for bringing up the fact that we didn't have clarity. That's all.
Right?
That
Exactly. Yeah.
is always helpful.
Yeah. So I guess the other things that Lori and I talked about were that we'd like to do some fundraising for the fire department, and we're recommending that any money that we make from food sales, we're thinking of having like a brats, hamburgers, that kind of thing. Any money go to the fire department, and they could use money for replacing some obsolete radios and things.
Oh,
So
okay.
if that sounds good to everyone, we're thinking of a possible raffle. And it'd be just, maybe we could think of what kind of item we wanted to have for a raffle. I don't know if Steve, do you have any good ideas of something awesome that we could raffle off that maybe someone in your community might have, or anyone on our committee, if we could be thinking of that?
Well, you got to be real careful with raffles. There's Secretary of State rules. We've tried it. Well, we've done it in the past, and I don't know what the rules are now because it's been a while since we've done it. But we had to send a uh, individual to Denver for a class, and then we had to apply for permits, and
Oh, geez.
you have to report everything you make to the state. Yeah, so we raffled off a snowmobile, and
Oh,
Wow.
it was extensive.
oh,
And
wow.
the individual who held our license is no longer on the department. He retired,
Okay.
and of course the license is expired anyway. So if you're talking about getting a big ticket item and selling tickets for it, that's uh, kind of a extensive process.
Okay.
So
Good
I
to
know
know.
Cascade does with their chili dinner, they go out to vendors and businesses and get gifts, and then they sell the raffle tickets at the dinner for, I think they're $1 or $2, and then they raffle the items off to the ticket buyers. So I can check with them and see how they handle that. If they actually had to get a license to do it that way, if they're doing it on the QT. I don't want to open that can of worms for them. They've been doing it for years and they're
Sure.
really successful with it. So I don't want to make a big deal out of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
But we can check. I don't know if there's like a dollar amount or what there is. Our snowmobile was like I think an $8,000 item was the value of it. And I can't remember how much we made off the tickets. We sold them for quite a few months, but I don't recall the amount that we made off of it. It was
Okay.
enough to buy put towards our new brush truck. So
Nice. That's
Yeah,
neat.
because I'm thinking if we could get items like maybe a trip for a family to the North Pole, maybe Beer Works, places like that. And then there's the new, what is it called? Keg and Barrel or something, where the old restaurant used to be up in Woodland that Neil had. The name just went right out of my head.
Mhm.
The
Um,
Swiss Chalet?
Yeah.
One
I
of the,
forget what it's called now, keg and barrel or something, keg and board, barrel and board, something like that. You know, gifts like that, you know, prizes like that would be great.
and the way to do things like that would be a silent auction. Those are always pretty successful. They're
Yep.
just they're a lot of work.
Mhm.
We've done them in the past for Bronc Day, and the folks that did them for us, they were not on the fire department because all the firefighters did the pancake breakfast, so they weren't able to do both. So we had residents that stepped up and helped us, and they did it twice. And the second time they came back and said, "We're done, never again."
Oh,
So
okay.
it is a lot. It's just a lot of work, and you have to go out and compete with all the cheerleaders and football players and 8 other fire departments in Teller County and 29 departments in El Paso County that are all out with their canvassing, looking for stuff to,
Okay.
for their silent auction. So it's a ton of work to do it that way. But it's
Okay.
also, makes a lot of money. So
All good ideas. I guess, did that help, Lisa?
Yeah,
Lori?
I think, yeah, if we could kind of keep thinking about this and doing some more brainstorming, we'll kind of get back to you with a recommendation for our next
Okay.
meeting.
Sounds great.
And then, Chief, I think you had told Lauren that you had 300 people for your pancake breakfast and that maybe we should expect 150 to this event, which would be pretty amazing. So I was just trying to think of food for that many people. So, in a budget that we could buy enough groceries to grill. And I was assured that we wouldn't be wasting any food that you could freeze, or we could have, you guys could eat what we don't do. But so I don't know if we would want to, I was just thinking off of the top of my head for that amount of food, maybe possibly $400 to $500 budget for us. And David, do we have that kind of money in our?
I would have to say we don't, because, in the budget cycle, the Fire Mitigation Advisory Committee did not get any funding for anything other than the matching funds for the CUSP grant. So
Oh,
there
I
is
was,
no money in the budget for anything other than grant matching.
oh, okay. I was thinking that they didn't earmark it, like specifically that it was an open budget, but okay. So how could we problem solve that? Um,
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I was kind of wondering of how we're going. I thought maybe y'all had a plan to sell the hamburgers or whatever at the event rather than give them away as part of it.
right. And if I'm speaking out of turn, Lori and Lauren, we, as a threesome, we kind of had felt like you get more money if you just have everything be donation based. So somebody buying a cheap hot dog would probably pay more for it in the long run than, say, a hot dog's $2 or something like that. So that's the way we're recommending taking any kind of money.
To do it as an open donation, like people can give what they feel they want to give versus a suggested amount per food item, I think that would be more successful to get say a $20 donation for a plate versus, okay, here's your $3.99. Can I have my change, please? That was the thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Right. And then our thought too was that, we help the fire department, and so we do this as a, donation for them to, get you know, the radios.
Mhm.
So then that was our thought. But we also thought, David, that we had some money. Yes.
Well, we certainly put together a very detailed budget request to the Board of Trustees, which included funding our education program efforts, among other things. And those were not approved.
Anne has a question.
It's Ann speaking. I'm sorry to interrupt, but David, isn't it true that there's a designated sort of savings account with the town for this committee that people can donate to that?
That is true, but we use those funds for the pizza. What did the pizza thing that we did
The
recently?
pizza for
The
the
Rubicon?
Rubicon.
Yeah.
Well, that was just a thought. If the account is there, you could
Well,
start.
there's no money in the account.
No, but it's an account that people could give to if they felt so inclined, and then you could use it. That's my only thought.
Right.
Sorry. Thank you.
Well, and I was thinking, going back to Bronc Day too, I think it's important for us to have a donation jar at the booth to get funds, maybe,
Mhm.
if
Yeah,
possible.
fill the boot.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's only going to put us a week out, right?
Yeah, it's a little late.
Or not even a week out, a day. No,
Mhm.
1 week out, 1 week.
Yeah.
So, yep. So,
So if we don't have any money, how do we do this then?
Well, um, I don't have an answer to that.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, short of, we have 5 members on the Fire Mitigation Advisory Committee. I guess we could all chip in $100 each.
I could if I could get it back.
I don't know. I think this brings up good points for us to be sure to talk through again with the board, for next time or next season when the budget comes around. It's going to be important to get some funds if we're going to do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
So-
wonder if we went to Greenbox or asked somebody associated with Greenbox if they would front the money for this and if we were to pay them back. I mean, because surely we would make more than what we spent.
I wonder if we just even, Kelly brought this, David, is it possible to bring this in front of the board and ask the board if, for this event, we're doing this is the first time we've done something, but Lisa and Lauren, I mean, we were talking about if this is so important to, work together. And so maybe this could end up being maybe a once a year activity that the fire mitigation works with the fire department and partnership there to do a fundraising event. But in order
I love that idea.
yeah, in order to do that, we're going to have funds in order to do it. So maybe it's something that can go in front of the board to have a discussion about, and maybe they have some discretionary funds in their budget that they could help us with.
And so is the proposal that you would make to the board that they're in essence giving you a loan to buy the food required, and that you will pay them back out of the proceeds?
I
No,
don't- No,
Nope.
I don't think
Okay.
it's that. I don't think it's a
Okay.
loan. I mean, I don't even know if the board has any extra money, but I think it's important to maybe bring this up to the board that, you know, we're really hoping to get this on. We've, you know, talked with Chief Murphy and Lauren and
Yeah.
if there's a way,
So-
if they have any funds.
I think the place to start, rather than, I mean, because the amount of money that we're, in essence, would go and ask for from the town's budget is small. And I think it's within the approval authority of the town manager without going to the Board of Trustees.
Hmm.
To me, the starting point would be to go and appeal to Becky, the town manager, to see if she would be willing to, or has the flexibility within the town's budget to fund something like this. That to me is the first step in this process. Now, if Becky says no, I don't know how you get it in front of the board. Because to take it to the board after she says no, and I'm just
Well-
making an assumption, I'm not saying she will. You would be circumventing her position, and asking the board to overrule her in essence. So that's kind of a sticky wicket.
And
Oh, we couldn't say, you know, who should we go to for this? Should we go to you or should we go to the board?
Yeah, you could put it that way to Becky. I mean, you could explain to her what we are doing, and that we're doing this in conjunction with Chief Murphy, and ask her for her input. Maybe she has some ideas. That way you're not giving her a yes or no question,
Right.
and see where you get with that.
So, and just to clarify, this money would be for food, like veggie burgers, hot dogs is what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Buns, mustard, ketchup, I mean, chips. So, I mean, it's not a huge amount, right? Like David
Right.
said.
Yeah.
So,
But you'd need for 150 people, and you were going to make burger patties for that many people, you'd need probably a third of a pound. So you'd need 50 pounds.
yeah, they come, we were thinking Costco.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
they come already pre-made.
Well, we're really getting into the weeds on this.
Yeah.
I think the main thing to focus on right now is very quickly determine whether or not there is funding available, or can we get funding. And so somebody's going to need to go and have that discussion with Becky, which I think is better to have in person than by email or phone
Right.
call. So one of you or a couple of you are going to need to go and approach Becky about that.
So Kelly, do you want to, but one of us, so I mean, I could go with you, Kelly, or Lisa could go. I think someone from either Lisa or me, since we were the planner thing, so we'll know more to say.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, I'll go with you if
Yeah.
you want, but it does make more sense for you and Lisa being you're doing the planning.
Exactly.
I'm happy to go if you want me to, but
What do you think, Lisa?
Sure, I'd be happy to go. Yeah, we can make a date to go up there.
Okay, you and me?
Yeah, that sounds good. And there's also the Building Ute Pass Communities, that new organization that's kind of taken Bronc Day versus the chambers. So they're kind of doing this, supporting events similar to this. So I can ask if they'd like to get involved with us in partnering. They have some just great minds of fundraising and that kind of thing. So I'll be picking their brains and seeing if that could be our plan B if we don't have money from the town.
That's a great idea, Lisa. And you're actually on that, in that group, right?
Right. Yeah. So I'll get with them. Can we jump ahead to some fun things that that have been planned?
Yeah, sure.
Steve and Lauren have talked about kids' activities, and they have the fire hats all covered. And Lauren, do you want to speak to that? Or Steve?
So we were discussing it today. We can set up activities for kids. You can have games set up. I have a cornhole set that I'll bring. Chief said that there's a Jenga game that we have at the station that can be used. We also have, it looks like a fire truck, but it's got the little circle cut out so the kids can stick their heads in it and take cute pictures there.
That's fun.
It's awesome.
And then we have coloring books and stickers that we can pass out to kids.
That sounds great. And we're like, the facility is just amazing. So I think having people be able to tour your firehouse, it's pretty spectacular. And I think people are going to be so impressed with and proud of where their tax dollars are going, and to meet the firefighters. I think it's just going to be a great event. And I think someone from our committee had recommended teaching how to use a fire extinguisher. And I think Lauren and the chief are feeling like that was a really good idea. So they'll be doing that. So, taking pictures of kids on the fire trucks in their cool new little fire hats. So yeah, I think that sounds really good. I guess the other considerations we had were parking, particularly if we get as many people as we're hoping for, maybe shuttling from Joyland. But we have some ideas about marketing. We might need some table and chairs. We were thinking of asking Greenbox for that. And just getting the Board of Trustees on board and inviting them and asking for any help or that they might support that they might be able to offer. So that's the notes I had. Is anybody else have any?
one question that came to mind for me is probably that time of year, we're not going to have to worry about rain, but if it should rain, do we have a backup plan?
Yeah, I don't know that I mean, as far as food, we could probably have most of it pre-prepared and inside versus using the grill that's outside. But it sounds to me like a rain or shine event to me. How
Yeah,
about you
that's what I'm thinking. Maybe we could move the trucks out of the bay and do the food in there if there were a lot of people or something. I don't know how many would show up if it rains is the only problem.
Yeah. Right.
Well, it sounds like y'all have put a lot of work into this, and it sounds like a wonderful event.
It does.
And I would just like to thank Lauren and Steve for being part of the planning and on this. I mean, it just sounds like a great event. So we just need to really focus right now on this financial aspect, but I think all the rest, y'all are, you've got a great program planned.
We're pretty excited.
Good. Well, thank you so much. Before we leave our education program, I did want Kelly to give us just a brief, how did it go with the STEAM event down in Manitou?
It went well. There were a lot of people there and not a ton of people stopped by that booth, but several did and took some of the flyers and literature that we have available to them. And I think I got 2 more people signed up for emails, Paul, so I'll need to get that to you.
Okay, good.
That's about it. But it was a nice evening, well attended. But a lot of it was stuff like the college was there and the kids were getting extra credit if they attended different booths to see. So wildfire mitigation was not a booth that really drew them.
Yeah.
It was more the parents.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for leading that effort.
Sure.
Let's move on to I really want to combine item B and C, which is the chipper program and the monthly tip, because I'd asked Paul to handle getting the chipper flyer updated as to use as a marketing tool. And we would also use it as our monthly tip for this upcoming month of May. But just to clarify where we are now, the chipper day or chipper program is June 29 and 30 and September 28 and 29. After kind of back and forth discussion among everyone, given that the June 29, 30 is the weekend preceding Green Box getting started. And I think Chief Murphy thought that he did not want to create a situation where there was a whole bunch of noise and whatnot going on right there at Joyland, or in that area. So and I think he's still on. So if I'm saying anything incorrect, you may correct me, Chief Murphy. But we are going to drag the chipper around town on the 29th and 30th, and chip in, at people's residents, and just, as we have in the past, blow the chips up on their yard. Now, the September 28, 29 dates, we will have the chipper set up and bring the slash to the chipper at Joyland. Have I said that right, Chief Murphy? Chief?
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, you guys my internet connection is, it was designed back in the 50s, so I'm getting every other word, and you guys are freezing up. And but yeah, that's the Jesse didn't want to offer or Joyland at the June day because of the green box thing. So
Yeah.
he has offered it in September. So we'll
Okay.
just have to struggle through in June and do what we can, and then do the drop off chip thing in September. And then
Yeah.
we were going to work with you guys and hopefully the Trails Committee, so whoever. I think we'll have enough people. My problem in September, we were going to offer to pick slash up for people that don't have a truck.
Yeah.
And it turns out nobody on the fire department has a truck either. So I know it's shocking.
Yeah.
We have to line up the pickups. I think we'll be okay with drivers and people to load. But some people, we've done this for so many years in the past, and a lot of people were, their comment was, "I'd love to bring my stuff down. I don't have any way to haul it."
Yeah.
And back in those days, we didn't either, so they just had to kind of miss out. So if we could figure out a way to haul the slash for them, from what we've seen in the last 3 years that we've done this, there's really, it's not like we're going to need a great big truck to do this. Usually a pickup truck or two would do it for the folks that can't haul it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one of the things we've got to look forward to for September.
I
Okay.
could steal Gary's truck and not tell him.
I wholeheartedly endorse that plan. I'd say go for it. Make sure you steal his credit card for gas.
Oh, good idea. Yeah.
Okay, so let me throw up there's our Chipper Day flyer that Paul has. You've circulated this already, right, Paul? And
Yes.
have you gotten feedback from anyone on any changes for this?
Yeah, so just to update everyone with the changes, pardon me. We removed any reference to Teller County. We replaced a- any non-GMF symbols with the town logo. Sorry. The only feedback was Carolyn, as a matter of style, like the TH taken off of 29th and 26th and 30th. This
Mhm.
thing's a little bit of a bear to edit. It can only be done in Publisher. You can't edit it with the PDF program. So once we get through this tonight, if there are no other changes, I'll loop back to Becky, and she has the Publisher program, and so we'll make those edits. And if there are any others, we can make those edits and get that out this week with the monthly update.
Okay. Thank you for managing that particular effort of getting this done, Paul, and working with Becky. I think you're also taking on the responsibility of managing both the database for people who want to sign up as participants in the program, and also sort of maintaining the database for volunteers. Is that right?
Yeah, so first on the database, yes, we Becky and I work together, and so I now have control of the Chipper sign up account. It's controlled with two-factor authentication, so we had to kind of line up our efforts there. But yes,
Mhm.
those emails now come to me, or at least an account that I have access to, and I'll build the database based on replies. One lesson learned is from previous years to make sure we have an automatic reply set up so that when people send in their information, they get an automatically generated reply that says, "Thank you, we've got your information." So when we send out the flyer, we'll also activate the account so that as people send their information in, we'll send them an automated reply that says, "Thank you, we've got your information," and we've confirmed receipt.
Mhm.
In terms of volunteers, yeah, I was listening to Chief Murphy. I do want to make sure that we get the right number and type of volunteers, so that I know in the past, Chief has said we were sometimes getting in each other's way. So, Chief, if we could just confirm about how many non-firefighter volunteers you're looking for for Chipper Days for this June version. I know it's a separate deal for the September version. But about how many, do you know right now how many non-firefighter volunteers you might need?
If we could get like, I know you guys, it's better for you to work in shifts so that they're not there all day. So if we could get like, if you get 6 people that you could break up into 3 shifts, that would be plenty. The
Okay.
June one, I have not heard back from. I haven't put this out to my volunteers yet, because if you give them too much notice, then they plan their vacations at that same weekend. So I try to spring it on them. So I'm not quite sure what I'll have for folks yet. So um, I mean, if you could talk 6 of them into helping, that'd be awesome.
So at any given time, that would mean you would need 3 people there.
Yeah, three
Two.
to 2 to 3
Okay.
would be fine.
Yeah, we could absolutely do that, and like you say, we'll break it up into shifts because you're right. I've done chipper duty, and it is a long day when you're there. I know the firefighters do it without issue, but yeah, it can be a long day. So yes, we can absolutely recruit that. So you have 2 or 3 folks there for any given shift.
Okay.
Yes, we'll set to work on that.
Okay, so we are at the point here, I think, of approving our chipper program flyer for use in marketing around town. And also as our May tip of the month. So everybody's had a chance to look at this. You've heard Paul's comments on the feedback he's gotten so far. Are there any other edits or changes, whatever, that anybody wants to suggest tonight?
I think it looks great.
Thank you. Paul, sounds like everybody's on board with it. Shall we call it for a vote?
Should we add to that? It just occurred to me, should we add to that we're looking for volunteers?
Yeah, Kelly, that's a great point. I think in the um, email that I send out to everyone, we should ask for volunteers. But since this chipper format will be uh, used for both the door-to-door and the centralized version, I'd rather not change it to change it back.
Yeah,
So this way we can use this flyer no matter which version of Chipper Day we do. But you're right, I think we should reach out to volunteers, and I can do that in the monthly tip email. And they can reply to me directly, and I'll just keep track of, positive responses, and we can organize their time that way. But you're
good.
right, yeah, we do need to start the volunteer recruiting process as soon as possible.
Would
And
we want?
we have quite a list from the 2 previous years that we've done this of people who have repeatedly volunteered and worked. So they probably would be the same people
Nice.
who would do it again.
Yeah, and we can reach out to them separately because
Yeah,
you're right, they are the frequent flyers, if you will.
Mhm.
yeah.
So
Okay,
Lisa, do you have that? The previous year's volunteers?
Yeah, I'll look for that and send that to you. Send some names that
All
I
right, thank you. I
got.
appreciate that.
all right, well, let's call this for a vote then. I move that we accept the chipper flyer as our as it is presented here with a couple of changes, removing the TH on the dates. For use in marketing the upcoming Chipper Day and as our tip of the month for the month of May. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I
Any
Aye.
opposed? It's unanimous. It passes. So this is our chipper flyer for this year. Good job. Thank you very much, Paul, for doing that. Okay. Team Rubicon. I've just had a few recent developments with Team Rubicon. I got a call from a new person there. I believe her name was Laura Arroyo. She called me this past week and said she is the mission supervisor, I believe was what she told me her title is. And she is responsible for the project coming up in Green Mountain Falls. And they have set May 23rd through 28th to have a team of people in town doing the property assessments for those people who have signed up and who I have given their names to Team Rubicon. She had understood that we were going to provide a place to bivouac their people, and she said it was at Sally Bush. And I said, well, I am not in authority to say yes or no on that. That would have to be Jesse Stroop. And I gave her Jesse's contact information, and she was going to contact him. But I'm just kind of giving y'all an update here that Team Rubicon they've assigned somebody to it. They put dates on it for assessments, and it looks like we're moving in the right direction here for late May to get this program kicked off. So, we're continuing. I got a call today from someone who wanted to be added to the list. Her name is Christy Bellows. I don't know if anybody knows Christy, but she called and wanted to be added. So we are adding her, and it's still open. I mean, if you know people that want to participate in this, just have them contact me and I'll make sure that their names get on the list and it goes to Team Rubicon.
Yes.
Now, being Sally Bush is still in the remodeling stages, I don't know how close they are to being finished.
Well,
Is there an alternative?
I'm going to wait for Laura to get back to me and tell me what Jesse said,
Okay.
and then we'll try to figure out what we're going to do. But at one point they had talked about having people come and they just wanted a place to camp. And Wallace Reserve was the suggested location again by Jesse. He said they would be happy to have them on Wallace Reserve. So, I think we just need to let this unfold a little bit more.
Okay.
I mean, if nothing else, we might be able to use Joyland or something like that.
David, what do you need from us during that time?
The only thing that I've told Laura when I talked to her that if they ran into issues with our residents in terms of just we might have some people in town who might be a little nervous about a stranger coming to their house, even though they know it's Team Rubicon. If in the process of trying to set up the meeting to come in and do the assessment, if it would be helpful to them for one of us to be involved in some way with the town resident, I said, we'd be willing to do that. It's just to give people a little more assurance, I guess. But I don't think there's a whole lot expected of us in this May 23rd through 28th. It's a group of, trained people who are going to come in and do the assessments so they can begin working on a plan of remediation.
Should we bring them meals or anything where they're staying? Would that be helpful? Like dinners?
I don't know. I'll have to ask Laura when I talk to her next time what other things they're going to need. She didn't mention it to me when she only asked me about bivouacking their people.
Okay.
I asked that question and then you guys, I'm going to be in Alaska, so I'm not even going to be around. So
Oh,
I want you to
well,
know,
Hey,
yeah,
um,
grandbabies.
Just ship us some fresh salmon or halibut.
No, yeah.
hey,
So,
hey, David, I can take care of that. I will be I've already completed the Team Rubicon background. I basically joined Team Rubicon. I've, done their
oh,
background check and done their
yeah.
pre-deployment training. And so I'll volunteer to do that operation as an assessor as like my initial, event. And then I can also be there as a neighbor. So
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah.
somebody who's local. So yeah, so I'll do that, or at least as much as I can. I should be free that week. And I don't know if this, I would like to talk about the Sawyer training that we mentioned last training or
Yes,
last meeting, but I don't want to
please.
jump the gun. So whenever you're ready to talk about that.
Yeah, I wanted to roll it in with the whole discussion about Team Rubicon. So I was really just wanting to give you all an update on where we stood, most recent, um, developments here on this project. But that's all I had. So if you want to talk about the Sawyer training, that'd be great.
Yeah, thank you. So as David mentioned, last meeting, you may all remember that we talked about David Lavery's offer from Team Rubicon. If we could get 12 people from the town to essentially join Team Rubicon, which involves submitting your name and background information for a background check, doing some pre operations online training, which takes about an hour or two at most, then you are now eligible for their training. And that training can include Sawyer training, chainsaw training, and it can be done here in Green Mountain Falls. So if we can get a critical mass of 12 people together, David Lavery will come to Green Mountain Falls, do Sawyer training, and he'll do that training on our property. So we can designate a property and say, we want to remediate this property. We can train our people using the Team Rubicon standard uh, and get some fire mitigation done in the process. And when you do this, let's say you join Team Rubicon as I did, you don't ever have to leave Green Mountain Falls. You can say, I'm only going to do GMF events, or I'm only going to participate in Ute Pass activities. So no one is, enlisting in the military to deploy to, parts unknown. You can do as much or as little as you want. And I shout out to Don Walker. He and I had a conversation earlier this week about this, and Rocco Blasi were reaching out to Friends of Ute Pass to see if we can't get additional people who are already doing similar work who might be interested in going through the Team Rubicon process and therefore being eligible for this Sawyer training that we could then bring to GMF.
Yay, great.
So do we have anybody identified who might be interested other than you and Don?
Yes, we have. We're still in the early stages, so no, we do not have. Kind of like the military, nobody's beating down the door to join up for this training just yet. But it's early, and so I'm hopeful that we'll generate more interest over the summer.
Well, Ian Willis a couple of years ago offered to serve the town and fire mitigation, particularly by being a volunteer to cut down trees. Now, he is a trained sawyer, but I wonder if he might be somebody we would enlist. And he lives right up there by Kelly.
He's
And
right
you
next
might know
door.
him, don't you, Kelly?
He's right next door, yeah.
Yeah, right. He might be somebody we would enlist to say, here's this program, maybe you'd like to be part of Team Rubicon. Don't know. Just throw it
Yeah,
out.
so let me. I think I may have done this last time, but I will put into chat, or at least I'll try, David. I might need to be enabled in chat to do this. But I'll put in chat the Team Rubicon link, and if not, Kelly, you just Google Team Rubicon or ask Ian to Google Team Rubicon, and it's a pretty straightforward process. You say, if he Googles Team Rubicon, it'll take him to their homepage, and there you can say, there's a tab that says, I want to volunteer, and it walks you through the background process. You know, what's your name, social security number, address. You submit that for a background check. It comes back in about 5 days. You sit through 12 interactive online modules about, you know, the background of Team Rubicon, what they do, how they do it. You kind of click through that and read and respond. That takes an hour or two, and then after that, you get notification. Hey, you are a gray shirt. You're on Team Rubicon, and you'll be notified when there's a uh, disaster response or fire mitigation or other operation in your area. And again, you can do as much or as little as you want.
I just sent that back out to everybody on a group chat. That link, Paul.
Oh, thank you, David. Yeah, I can see it. So yes, yeah, a relatively straightforward process.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
is this Sawyer training, is there a standard there to where, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, is it, so when you get done with this, you have a certificate that you're, you know, a certified Sawyer, or is it?
Yes, but I would not want to say who accepts it. Like, does the Colorado State Forest Service accept it? I don't know. The advantage to doing it through Team Rubicon is that anyone who does the Sawyer training through them is covered by their insurance, and it's the only way they can participate in a Team Rubicon operation, say in GMF. That you know, you can't show up with your non-Rubicon certification and say, "Hey, I'd like to do your Sawyer operation." You have to go through their process to be covered by their insurance. But
And
as to who else accepts that, I don't know.
Okay.
Paul, if I talk to Ian, do you want me to give him your phone number if he has any questions?
Sure, Kelly, I'd be happy to. Yeah, happy to talk
Right.
to him.
And just so everybody is aware, when we talked about having a volunteer group of Sawyers a couple of years ago to help, you know, you know, Green Mountain Falls people who were willing to go and help others, that did not pass muster with the town and the town's attorneys because of this whole insurance issue. You know, we were basically told that we couldn't act as town, you know, town sponsored volunteers to help somebody on private property. In case somebody got hurt, then the town would be liable. So this Team Rubicon connection and getting trained and qualified through them and working with them in town alleviates and resolves that issue of liability protection and insurance. So, you know, we finally have an answer to a problem that we uncovered a couple of years ago by working with Team Rubicon. So thanks for going forward with that, Paul.
Well, that's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all keep talking up Team Rubicon to people around town and let them know. And I think there's something published just recently on the town Facebook, political Facebook. I don't know. I'm not a Facebook person, so I don't know how to say that, but I know there was something posted uh, on Team Rubicon as well as CUSP, and the cost sharing program with CUSP. So anyway, just keep people, you know, aware of those kind of things. Anything else, Paul, from you on Team Rubicon?
No, that's it on Rubicon.
Okay. Any updates on the database? I know.
No movement on database or block captain. Still sitting at 81 names. Although Kelly, yeah, whenever you forward me those names, I'll be sure to add them. And if you could do it in the next couple of days, I'll get them the May tip.
And I've got a list of people that I need to add too, Paul. Do you want me to do it or do you want me to send you the list?
Either way is fine, David. I think you have editing privileges as well, so
Okay.
I'm happy to punch them in there, or if you just want to do it directly, either way is fine.
Okay. All right. Very good. That concludes our agenda. We have no new business, no reports. We had the email from Carolyn Bowers, which I shared earlier. I would like to thank Chief Murphy and Lauren for participating tonight in our meeting. I think it added a whole lot to our discussion. I'd like to thank Don Walker, our newest trustee at Green Mountain Falls, to welcome him to attending our meeting. And I hope you will come back and attend again, Don. It's nice to have somebody from the Board of Trustees in our meetings.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you for letting me sit in. That's very
Mhm.
informative.
Good. Well,
I have a lot of notes.
do you have any questions or anything before we adjourn? Did you wanted to, or comments?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks again. Okay, well, that's it, folks. Until the next time. And I think, let me just double check our calendar. Let's see here. May, the last Monday in May is the 27th. How does that look for everybody?
That is Memorial Day.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So,
I guess that is Memorial Day. Wow. Okay, so do we want to back up and have a meeting May 20th, which is only 3 weeks away? Or would it be better to move to, well,
June.
any thoughts from anybody?
I
Should
could
we
do May 20th.
Okay, or do you want to move it out to like say May I don't know what conflicts we'd have with other meetings, but the 29th or the 30th or somewhere in there.
What day of the week is it?
Well, the 27th is Monday, so if we went to the 29th or Thursday, that would be a Wednesday or a Thursday.
I'm out of town during that time.
That whole week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So shall we back up to the 20th then?
That works for me.
That's
Me
fine.
too.
That's
All
fine.
right. Paul, does that work for you?
Yes, and so I'm actually thinking about 2 meetings ahead. So that would mean the June meeting would be on June 24th, and that would be a chance to do last minute coordination for Chipper Day,
Yep.
which will be that weekend. I just want to make sure we have a chance both to market the Chipper Day, which we can talk about on the 20th, and then the pre-execution checks for June, which we could do on the 24th.
Yep. That sounds
make
good.
sense?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, David. I agree.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. We will plan our next meeting will be on the 20th of May, and I'll be sending out the usual correspondence with regard to that. With that, we'll adjourn this meeting, and it is by my watch 7:21. We're done. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Leave meeting, leave.